Hey guys, welcome back to another TEKDEP repair video. In today's episode, we're going to be working on this MSI Raider GE66. This came in for a keyboard top case replacement because the keyboard on this one is unfortunately non-functional after some spills. But we're going to go ahead and swap everything except for the top case over to this guy here and get the unit back up and running. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is flip the unit over. We're going to point the hinges upwards just to be safe here. We're going to take a Phillips head screwdriver and remove all of the screws on the bottom, holding the bottom case to the assembly. Don't forget the screw under this factory seal. Alright, now we're going to take a spudger and go around the unit and pop it up. So I got a corner started here. It can be pretty hard to get into. You may have to use a very thin guitar pick or a very, very thin spudger, but eventually you can get in there and start popping it off. There we are. So that is our bottom case removed. We're inside the unit. Before we do anything else, we're going to go ahead and unplug the battery. There we are. Now the unit's safe to work on. There's no power flowing to it. We can go ahead and start transferring parts out of our unit. So we're going to go back to our Phillips head screwdriver, and the very first thing I'm going to remove is going to be the storage because everything else in this unit is easily replaceable. Customers' data is not, especially your own data. So make sure you go ahead and remove this first. It's going to be stuck in there quite well due to the thermal pads on the bottom. But if you very slowly and carefully pry up and remove the tape cover, you can then remove the SSD. And just so I don't lose this M.2 screw holding the drive in, I'm just going to secure it back into place on this daughter board here. And now we're going to go ahead and fully remove the battery with a singular screw. We can now go ahead and pull out the battery and set it aside. So now I'm going to go around the board just unplugging the various connections that are immediately accessible right now. I'm going to start on the left hand side here and unplug the left hand cooling fan. I'm going to go ahead and go down to the CMOS bio speaker here. I'm going to peel up this tape cover and unplug the trackpad. Actually, we're going to unplug the trackpad from this side. Now we're going to come over to the speakers and unplug them as well. Come over to the Wi-Fi module and unplug these Wi-Fi antenna cables. Come over to the right-hand CPU fan and unplug this as well. And for now, that's all that's accessible. So we're going to go ahead and go back to unscrewing things. We're going to start with the logic board by removing these Phillips head screws. Under this tape cover, there are two sets of screws. One holds in the logic board, one holds in the I/O daughter board. And you actually do have to remove the cooler in order to fully disassemble this unit. To do that, we're going to first start with the CPU fan screws. It's going to be 2 on each. Now we should be able to remove our heatsink. There we go. Just thermal pads and thermal paste holding it down. Do make sure that you route these cables away from the heatsink. They're kind of tucked in there right now. You want to make sure you don't rip or damage them. So we're going to make sure those are routed correctly and able to pull away. And we're going to set the heatsink aside. Now we have more access to the board. such as the LCD connection here, we're just going to pull straight up on. Oops. There we go. And that's our LCD unplugged. So there's going to be one screw right here for the main board, and that should be it, unless there are screws under the memory modules, which we're going to check for right now. Looks like there isn't any under that. And none under that. All right, so we should be able to simply remove our logic board. It's actually plugged into the daughter board, so we're going to go ahead and remove that first. There's going to be a bunch of cables attached to this, so you're going to have to be somewhat delicate. So this front cable that runs here is for this front LED bar, and this orange cable here is the I/O board to motherboard connection. So we're going to start by unscrewing all these Phillips head screws at the bottom here that hold the front LED bar to the top case assembly. The reason we're going to do this first is it's going to allow us to get some slack in this cable to come over here and unplug it. And we now should be able to unclip. There it is. There we are. So now we have the front LED strip unclipped. One little step I forgot to show you is you do have to release this little lever here, which will drop the cable out the bottom, which I already did. So we're all set on that side, but make sure you don't forget to unclip that little lever there, or else your front LED strip, this bar, will no longer work. So now we can go ahead and peel this cable up, give ourselves some slack. Careful for the speaker wire that's taped under this cover as well here. So in this step here, I'm just going to remove the front speakers to get them out of the way. Alright, now we should have some more flex on this cable. It's going to be extremely hard to show you guys what's happening down here, but there's a little tape cover over a retention bar. We're going to peel the tape cover off first. That little black tape cover there. And now we're just going to go ahead and flick the retention bar upwards. There we go. It's really hard to get that bar to flick up for some reason. But you can see this retention bar here is now released, and our I/O daughter board is out. Now that all that's out, we can go ahead and remove the board. There are the keyboard and keyboard backlighting cables running on the underside, right where my finger is, right underneath the battery connector. So what you're going to want to do is tilt this board up and come under here and unclip these retention bars and undo the cable. So now that we unplugged the keyboard one on the left, we just have the backlighting one right here. Again, another taped down cover. And now we should be able to simply pull the connection out. There we are. And that is our logic board finally fully out of our top case. All right, so the last parts we have to work on here are the LCD assembly. And to do so, we're actually just going to turn it over. And we need to pop this rear cover here at the bottom off. So it's pretty hard to show, but it's easiest to start on the sides here at the top, like that, and just work your way downwards to the middle. All right, so we got our rear cover here for the top case popped off. Now we can go ahead and unscrew the LCD and hinges from our old top case. So now we can just lift our LCD off of the top case. Don't forget to untangle the wire from the securing points. and pull the actual display connector through. There we are. And that's our LCD separated from our top case. All right, we've got our brand new top case here. All new keyboard with the Wi-Fi antennas are brand new as well. These are pretty hard to find, but if you guys are looking for any parts or tools you see in the video today, check out the links in the description or check us out at TEKDEP.com. If you're interested in a mail-in repair similar to the one you see today, check us out at TEKDEP.com. We do it all every day. So we're going to start out in a complete reverse process, meaning we're going to grab the LCD first, feed the LCD connector through its little slot, and we're going to lay it into place. Now we're going to go ahead and secure it down using the same screws we took it out with. So that's our LCD all installed on the top case. We're just going to go ahead and pre-run our cable. And now we're going to go ahead and take our rear panel here and snap it on. So now that we have the LCD and that top cover installed, the first thing we're going to do is install our logic board. That's actually upside down right now, just to show you. We have two cables that we have to install. It's going to be this cable here, which is for the keyboard. It's going to be this keyboard cable here as well. This is for the trackpad and backlighting. It's going to go ahead and go into the side marked painting. And this is our trackpad cable here. This is our IO board daughter board cable, and that's all on the underside. So let's go ahead and slot it in. I found the easiest way to make sure everything lines up is to start right and work left. So we're going to first plug in the keyboard and trackpad lighting cable. And now we're going to go ahead and make sure we don't pinch any cables at the top here from our LCD and our Wi-Fi antennas. And we're going to plug the other keyboard cable in on the left hand side while we're laying the board down. All right, now that we have that final cable that runs under the board connected, I'm just gonna double check we're lined up here on the right hand side. Looks like we are almost there. There we are. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and plug in the trackpad cable while we are right in front of it. We're going to make sure we pre-route our Wi-Fi antennas. And plug in our LCD connector. And now we're ready to screw in the logic board screws. So we're going to go ahead and clean off the CPU and GPU here using just a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel. Now we're going to go ahead and apply some new fresh thermal paste. We're now going to take our CPU, GPU heatsink, get ready to lay it in place. Remember, these Wi-Fi cables are going to feed through here and run right next to this guy. And now we're going to start by screwing the CPU, GPU heatsink in place. They are numbered. You will find which screws to do first. Looks like it's 5, 6, 7. Then it's going to be 8, 9, 10. So before we forget, we're going to start by plugging in our Wi-Fi vent module, our Wi-Fi antenna cables, and our CPU and GPU cooling fans. we're going to take our board screws and secure the main board into place. Next, we're going to go ahead and take our I/O board, daughter board here. First thing we're going to do is plug in the board connecting the I/O board to the main board. Alright, so now that we have our I/O board cable installed, we're going to secure it into place using the included screws. There we are. And at this point, we are going to now install the speakers. Followed by the BIOS buzzer. The SSD. Now we're going to go ahead and install the LED strip at the bottom. We're going to open up our retention bar here and slot the cable in. We're going to go ahead and slot it into place and secure it down. Now we're going to take our battery, drop it on in. Make sure the BIOS speaker is located in the correct slot, or else it will make the battery stick up just a little bit. You may need the help of some Scotch tape, Captain tape, whatever you have laying around. There we are. Now we're going to go ahead and plug in the battery. And secure it down. Final 4 screws we have here are the screws for the CPU cooling fans and GPU cooling fans. Make sure you don't pinch the Wi-Fi antenna cables here. Now we're going to pop the bottom case on. When you're putting this on, you want to start with the front corners here. They kind of slide downwards and in. Now we're just going to secure it using the same Phillips head screws that we took out at the beginning. Alright, let's go ahead and turn it over, plug it in, make sure everything works. Alright, so immediately looks like we're already actually booted the desktop here. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and with the help of the community, we'll make sure to assist you. If you saw any parts or tools you need in the video, check us out at TEKDEP.com or click the link below for mail-in repairs. We'll see you guys in the next episode.